here. I'm here today to start a new reading vlog. So I think we're heading into like our 8th week in quarantine. I'm not really sure, like the weeks are all kind of blurring together, but I know I've been quarantined for a long time. So last week I did a middle grade reading-thon. This week I'm going to do a fantasy reading vlog, like all fantasy books. These are all arcs I got either at ALA or New York City Comic Con. So I'm just going to go through them, what I hope to read this week. I don't know if I'm going to read them all. I don't even know how long this reading vlog is going to be, but I do want to read all these. These have been on my TBR for a while. And one is actually science fiction. But the first book I'm going to pick up is The Sound of Stars by Alicia Dow. This did come out in February, and it's like a science fiction novel. But I have to admit, this tagline sold me. Can their love of books and pop music save the world? And the back is, can the girl with the forbidden library and the alien who loves pop music work together to save the world? I think that is a glorious concept. This cover is gorgeous, and I just can't wait to start reading. I don't think I'm going to read it tonight, but can we just admire this cover? Like, I really hope this is the actual cover, but oh my goodness, the psych sounds so perfect. I haven't read a science fiction book in a while, so I really hope that I like it. And I remember I was just like, so when I was talking to the lady, I was like, oh my goodness, I need to read this. So I'm finally getting around to it. This is going to be the read I'm going to start tomorrow. Also, that I hope to tackle in this read, one is The Jewel Thief by Jenny Mobley. This is supposed to come out the end of May, and it's basically a heist novel set in 1673 Paris, and I think it has to do with it has to do with the Hope Diamond. So sounds really, really cool. And the last one that I'm gonna hope to tackle in this reading vlog is The Queen's Assassin by Melissa De La Cruz. I did wind up picking this up at New York City Comic Con, but I heard about it at BookCon. But I've sometimes struggled with Melissa De La Cruz's writing, but I do want to give her a shot. So I think this is the order that I am going to read them, but tomorrow I'm going to start with Sound of Stars. My listening plans for this week is I do want to finish Tales of the Shadowhunter Academy. I just started that. And I also do want to finish Love Without Borders, which is it's like a memoir book that I'm reading based on one of the YouTubers that I follow. But yeah, so I'm gonna watch one more episode of Batwoman because I'm almost caught up on my CW shows, and then I'm gonna watch some Legacies. So I'll talk to you guys tomorrow for another update. Bye. Right here, it is May 11th, bright and early on May 11th. I'm just about to start work, but I do want to read a little bit before I head to work. I'm not really going anywhere, but before my class starts. I am going to dive into The Sound of Stars by Alicia Dow. I really hope to make some progress on this today. This cover is so pretty. I also did wind up changing my TBR a little bit last night after I was like in bed thinking, I think I'm going to read Shadows Between Us before I read Queen's Assassin. I don't know. I'm more in the mood for that. So I'm going to dive into that after this one. But I do hope to read those all this week. The order might change. But I am going to dive into reading, and then when class actually starts, I'm going to dive into Tales of the Shadowhunter Academy, but I'm going to go read this, and I'll give you guys my updates if I can during work. If not, I'll just update you guys at the end of my job for the day. Bye, guys. I'm back. It's about 2:30. I'm about to finish work for the day. It is turned out to be a very, very dreary day, which I was not expecting. So I did wind up listening to about 2 stories in Tales of the Shadowhunter Academy by Cassandra Clare, which is a collection of short stories that is set directly after City of Heavenly Fire. So I want to re-listen to this before I dive into Chain of Gold. But I did wind up listening to 2 stories, which I'm kind of impressed with. So I'm going to go play like a little bit of Animal Crossing because I didn't wind up playing all weekend. And then I'm going to start, like really start. I read legit a chapter of The Sound of Stars, which I really like, so I'm excited to dive back into it, but I've literally read a chapter, so I don't know much about the story to begin with. But I'm gonna go play Animal Crossing for a little bit, and when I'm done with Animal Crossing, I will update you guys on how Animal Crossing went, and then I'm gonna let you guys know my thoughts on Sound of Stars, which I hope to start today, which I definitely will, right after I play Animal Crossing. Bye, guys. It's Lori here, just checking back in. I did wind up reading a little bit of Sound of Stars. I read about 2 chapters, which is like one from each perspectives. I am really liking this book. It basically follows the the world has been overtaken by aliens, and they're kind of in a position where eventually they're all going to be mind controlled. Like, that's the feeling that I'm getting. You follow two characters. You follow Ellie, who is a young girl who basically has a library that she gives books out to people so they can read them, which is very, very bad in the society because they don't want the humans like rebelling. And then the other point of view is you have a character named basically Morris, I'll say that, but it's like spelled differently, and he is heavily involved in creating the technology that is going to basically wipe out the human existence. But he's a little bit different. He does have some opinions of his own, which I like. But he is he's like an alien that really likes pop music. So their paths wind up unexpectedly crossing, and I really like it. I love that concept. I think that like a forbidden library and pop music to save the world, and it brings these two characters together. And I think that that's so true because I've been in situations like in my life where I have nothing in common with somebody, but we realize we like the same music or we like the same books, and that always happens at BookCon. I'm so sad we won't be able to go this year, but I feel like sometimes like even saying like what's your favorite book to someone, you guys can have a conversation. So I like that like these two characters have an immediate connection even though they haven't met yet, or something that they can like be connected in even if they're so different, and I'm really, really liking that. I also think that during the situation that we are in now, where like we're all self-quarantining and we're all really not going out and being around each other, we still find ways to connect to each other, and this book I think is the perfect one to read. I'm really liking it, and I'm going to keep reading. I got up to page 44, which is a great start. I am going to do my evening yoga class today, but then I'm just going to keep reading. I'm also watching Haley's reading vlog, which is all about adult romances. Yeah, so I'm going to go back to reading, and I'll update you guys when I can. Bye. Here, I'm just checking back in. I did wind up reading about 86 pages in The Sound of Stars by Alicia Dow. I'm really enjoying this book. I'm just really taking my time and really like slowly reading it because I'm really loving the characters. I'm loving the world. I really love what it's saying about rising up and the importance of the arts and so many different arts, both music and reading. I think that those are two things that I love personally, and I love how she talks about it. I'm really loving it. Like, this is definitely such a strong science fiction read that I'm thoroughly enjoying, but it's also a book that I think is so rooted in reality. I think you'll find an entry point, but I'm just loving how these two characters who have nothing in common are finding such a common ground. But yeah, tomorrow is a little bit of a different day for me because I have parent teacher conferences. I do know that I'm definitely gonna listen to a lot of the audiobook that I'm in listening, but I would really love to again read like about 100 pages tomorrow. But I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I'm gonna go maybe watch some legacies, I think. I didn't get through all of my YouTube videos today either, which is a little bit upsetting, but that's okay. I also took a yoga class. So I'm going to go and watch Legacies for a little bit, and I will check in with you guys tomorrow morning. Bye. There, I'm back. It's about to be 8 o'clock in the morning, and I'm just about ready to start grading all the stuff that the kids did over the evening. But I did want to check in and say that I did wind up watching one episode of Legacies, which is the season premiere of season 2. Thoroughly enjoying that show. And then I wound up rewatching the Disney sing-along, the High School Musical one, where all the high school, or really were all like anyone that Kenny Ortega has ever worked with kind of was in that song, and I really enjoyed that. But it got me thinking about the new High School Musical TV show on Disney Plus. So I wound up watching like 2 episodes. Really, really loved it. I always loved High School Musical when I was a kid. I thought that it was great. I love that cast. So just to see like the new incarnation of it was super exciting. I did say this in yesterday's clip. I do have parent-teacher conferences today, but I do hope that I will get some reading done and some listening done. Tales of the Shadowhunter Academy is on my list. I am on page 89 in The Sound of Stars by Alicia Dow. I am going to try to read this also today as well, like when I have a little bit of downtime. But I'm going to go and do some grading so I can have some downtime later, and I will definitely update you guys about how my day goes. I do definitely want to go out and do a bike ride or do something, like go for a walk or something before I have to do parent-teacher conferences. But yeah, we're all adjusting to this new normal. I think schools are too, and I think we're trying to figure out what works best. But yeah, so I'm gonna go to do work, and if I do wind up reading any of Sound of Stars or listening to anything, right now I'm on the Tales of the Shadowhunter Academy that's about Jack the Ripper, which definitely is more connected to the characters that I'm gonna see in Chain of Gold. So I'm really trying to pay attention to those stories a little bit more, even though these kids are like itty bitty, like James and Lucy are like little kids, but I do love the dynamic. So I'm gonna go back to doing some grading, and I'll talk to you guys when I have a little bit of time. Bye guys. Here I'm back. It's about 8:16. I just finished parent teacher conferences, and I am shot. Like it's a lot online learning. I'll say that it's a lot. But the parent teacher conferences went well. I am like not motivated to do anything. I think I'm just going to watch some Netflix and relax. I did listen to quite a bit today. I listened to like 2 stories in Tales of the Shadowhunter Academy. I'm loving, now that I know who these characters are, I'm loving diving back into the characters that I'm going to meet in Chain of Gold. Simon is still my favorite character in the entire Mortal Instrument series, and this book really does focus on him. We're in a story about Valentine right now, which is not my favorite character, but I know that the story is important for like the future books, but very much liking that. I'm still really liking Sound of Stars. I did not get to read like any of it today. I read like about 50 pages, or not even 50, like a couple of pages. Still really enjoying it. Hopefully I'll tackle a little bit more of it tomorrow. But I'm gonna go relax, kind of give my eyes a rest because I've been, staring at people all day. But I'm gonna go. I will definitely update you guys tomorrow morning before I go to work, and let you know if I got any reading done and what I wound up watching. But yeah, talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye. Hey guys, Lori here. I'm back. I just want to check in the morning before I start work. It is about 7:40. I did read very little yesterday, but I did get past 100. I'm on page 109 of The Sound of Stars. Yesterday was just a really chaotic day with parent teacher conferences and stuff like that. It was super fun, like virtually seeing my work friends who I haven't seen since like the beginning of March. So that was super fun. I also did watch an episode of Pitch and Agent Carter last night, which was very nice. So I'm going to keep listening to Tales of the Shadowhunter Academy. I have about 11 hours left, which I would like to make a big dent in. I definitely do want to go for a bike ride today and some other stuff, but I do want to focus today on kind of like catching up on my grading that I didn't do yesterday. So that's my plan of attack, and when I have some downtime, if there is any, I'm definitely going to read Sound of Stars. So when I will update you guys at the end of my day, hopefully, and let you guys know about my listening and reading progress, if any has occurred. Bye, guys. Here, I'm just checking back in. I did actually wind up listening to quite a bit of Tales of the Shadowhunter Academy. I have about 8 hours left. I'm on the story that I probably like the least overall. It's the Valentine and Alex father story. I think I like that story the least, but I do like the connection that it does have to Simon's story. Um, this collection is, I'm liking it more because I'm understanding all like the side stories that I wasn't a big fan of at the start of the series. Now that there's a couple other ones that I'm about to get to, but overall I'm really liking it. I'm definitely gonna charge it probably and watch something else while I'm doing like the end of my work stuff for the day. But I'm gonna go get some food, and then I'm gonna finish up my job. When I'm done with work for the day, I'll check in with you guys. I didn't read anything of Sound of Stars, but I did get quite a bit of listening done, so that's kind of good. But I'll talk to you guys later. Hey, it's Lori here. I'm back. It is about 5 o'clock. I just wound up sitting down, and I'm gonna dive back into The Sound of Stars. I did wind up reading about 150 pages, which is actually really good considering I read absolutely nothing yesterday. But I'm really liking it. The book has definitely changed courses, I'll say, and like the characters are on a more of an adventure track. But I do really like the focus that these characters have. I do like that they're two such different characters, but they both have the same end goal. I think that the science fiction elements are super interesting, and I'm really liking it. So I'm going to try to make a bunch of progress. I have a bunch of background noise that I'm going to listen to, and I'm going to hopefully make some progress. This reading week was definitely not what I was expecting to read this week, but I do hope to at least finish 2 books by the end of the week. So I'm going to go read, and when I read about 50 more pages, I will update you guys. Bye. Here, I'm back. It's about 7:35. I did actually wind up video chatting with my cousin, which is something that like I never do. But before that, I did wind up reading another 50 pages of The Sound of Stars by Alicia Dow. I'm very intrigued by this book. Like, something unexpected happened, and I'm not quite sure like how I feel about it. But I'm exactly 50% done, so I'm really excited to see where the story goes. I'm still really liking both characters' point of views. I think that they really do flesh out the world. I do like the science fiction elements. I'm really, really fond of this story, like a lot. I think it has a nice balance between science fiction and also dystopian. There's elements of both. I really do like the strong presence on the importance of music and books. And there's also songs in this, and I'm curious, like in the audiobook, if it's sung or if there's like a playlist or something. Like I'll have to look into that a little bit, but I'm really, really enjoying it. I'm gonna keep reading. I'm really far behind on my booktube, like on my all my YouTube videos that I watch, so I want to like keep going that for tonight. Probably until like 9:30, and then I'll probably go back to watching Legacies because I'm really far behind on that show. But I'm gonna dive back into Sound of Stars, and I will update you guys when I read 50 more pages. Bye, guys. Checking back in, it is almost 9 o'clock, and I did actually get up to page 250 in The Sound of Stars by Alicia Dow. Really liking this book. This book definitely took like an unexpected turn, like in the middle of it, and now it's so interesting. Like I'm really liking the science fiction slash dystopian elements. It really reminds me of The Darkest Minds, specifically like book one of The Darkest Minds, that series. It has an element of that, but then it also has elements of like the Honor Bound series, which was by Rachel, I can't remember her name, but it was like Honor Bound was the first one. Has elements of that, also elements of like Illuminae, also elements of like the Supergirl plot that I'm watching right now on the CW. So it's a really fun mashup, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm loving the characters. The characters are definitely the highlight in this story. It's so interesting. Like I want to know how this story ends, and there's also like an element of like a band, which is literally it's that's the name of the band. It's called The Sound of the Stars, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. Um, yeah, Starry Eyed. Oh no, Starry Eyed, I think is the name of the band. But I feel like there's something to that band that like we don't know yet. So I'm curious to see how that's gonna all flesh out. But I think that there's a chance I might finish this book tomorrow. I read about 150 pages today. So I can probably finish it tomorrow, but I'm really liking it. I think that this was such a fun read. So I'm gonna go watch some Legacies, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow in the morning. Bye guys. Right here, I'm back. It is about 7:30 in the morning, and I did wind up watching a little bit of Legacies last night. Watch like an episode. Tonight with my friend Jess from work, we're actually gonna watch a couple of episodes, I think, of the Vampire Diaries. So I'm gonna try to read as much of this as I can before then, like after work. Today is like prepping day for the next week, so I do want to like get a bunch of stuff done. I also have no idea what I'm gonna read next week, which I'm still debating about. But I just wanted to check in and say that I hope to listen to a lot of Shadowhunter tales during work this work day, but I also have a lot of like daily vloggers that I'm really far behind on. So I don't know what I'm actually going to listen to, but I'm going to go and I'm going to start grading and prepping for next week, and I will come in when I can and update you guys about The Sound of Stars, if I make any progress. Right now I'm on exactly page 255, which means I'm exactly like I think I'm 65% done. Really enjoying this book. Definitely going to be a new favorite for me. It's a nice mix between like Illuminae, but also The Darkest Minds. I think that with no superpowers, but just the way the book is like structured, I'm really enjoying it. So I'm gonna go do some prep stuff, and I'll talk to you guys in a bit. Bye. I'm back. I did actually wind up doing a bunch of stuff after work. I went for a bike ride. I read up to page 340 in Sound of Stars, which I'm really enjoying. I listened to, I think, one full story in Tales of the Shadowhunter Academy. So now I'm about to start Bitter Tongue, which means I have about 6 hours left of my audiobook. The only thing I didn't do today is during work, I didn't really listen to my audiobook. I kind of neglected that, which was not very good. But I am really liking my reread of Tales of the Shadowhunter Academy. I'm also really liking Sound of Stars. I have about, I'd say about like 50 pages left. So I'm going to do one more thing, and then I'm gonna dive back into my book, and when I come back I will let you guys know. I'm gonna try to listen to a little bit more of Bitter Tongue. I don't remember how long this story is. I know that some of the stories in this anthology, like I remember at the time that I was reading to it, I wasn't that into it because it didn't focus directly on Simon. But now that I'm really like more invested in the world, I think that those stories might like capture my attention a little bit more. So I'm going to go do that, and when I come back, I should be able to tackle the end of Sound of Stars. Overall, this book is a really, really fun read. I think it's a nice balance between science fiction but also dystopian. The book is really pulls from our world. Like, I think it has a lot of like tiebacks. It's very much a contemporary novel, but with some with aliens. Like, I think Alicia Dowd really does pull from like our music and our books that we read, so it's very reminiscent of that, which I'm really fond of. I also really like these characters. I love the dual point of view stories. If you followed me for a while, you know that I really love dual point of view romance storylines, because I think that it's really important that you get both characters' point of views. This is my I struggled a little bit with the explanations at like some points, like really towards the beginning. I felt like some parts were a little bit like brushed over, and I wish she would have expanded on that just a little bit or made it a little bit clearer. But then again, this is an arc, so it's entirely possible that that was fleshed out in the manuscript. But I really do like this book. I would right now it's probably like a 4.5-star read for me. But yeah, so I will check in when I dive back into it. Bye guys. Here, I just want to do a quick check-in. I did wind up getting page 400 in The Sound of Stars. This book took a very unexpected twist that I was not at all expecting, but one of my predictions sort of came true, which I was not really expecting my prediction to come true, but it kind of happened in like a way that I wasn't expecting it to happen. So I have about like 20 pages left, which I think I'm definitely gonna go tackle. I am waiting to hear from my friend. I think we're gonna watch a couple of episodes of Vampire Diaries, but I am going to tackle the last 20 pages and then come in and give you guys my thoughts. Bye guys. It's Louie here. I'm back. It's almost 8 o'clock, well, 7:40, and I just woke up for work. Last night, I did wind up finishing The Sound of Stars by Alicia Dow. Guys, I wound up really liking this book. I thought it was a perfect mix between science fiction but also dystopian. I really like I think that the tagline is perfect. Can their love of pop books and pop music save the world? I will definitely go into this saying that it is a series, or supposed to be a series. So it's definitely like leads to like a point, but I thought it was a very, very solid like concluding novel, like a concluding part of the book. I thought that was actually very, very, very well executed. I liked both point of views. I thought the world building was really well crafted because it definitely pulls from contemporary America. There's also a lot of books and movies and music that is talked about that we can really connect to. I thought the pacing, especially like the explanation of some things in the middle and like at the very end, I thought was like a little bit rushed, but I would really give it like 4.5 stars. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I really liked the characters. I loved the elements of science fiction that were twisted. It really reminded me a lot of The Darkest Minds. Like, it just had elements of that, like not without the superpowers, but thoroughly enjoyed it. We'll definitely be checking out book 2, and I'm probably gonna wind up keeping this arc, which I don't normally do, but I really love this cover. So what I'm gonna try to do today is I'm going to try to make a bunch of progress on Tales of the Shadowhunter Academy, and I'm also gonna start reading Shadows Between Us by Trisha Levasseur. This book is not that long. It's only 300 pages. I think I could definitely finish this between today and tomorrow. And then what I think I'm going to do is well, we'll see. I have a couple of ideas. But that's my plan of attack. So I'm going to go start prepping for work and listening to tales. I just also wind up watching a bunch of news by Super Space Chick. So has kind of got my wheels turning for my June TBR. I think I'm going to do something a little bit different because I really haven't read contemporary books in a bit. And I have quite a few on my TBR, so I think I might do like a contemporary themed June TBR. But yeah, so I'm going to go get prepped for work. And when I'm done working, I will definitely update you guys. Talk to you guys in a bit. Bye. I forgot to say what I wound up doing after I finished reading last night. I watched like 3 episodes of Legends, which I loved. I'm really, really liking that show. I'm loving the character dynamics, and I'm really invested in it. I just think it's such a cool concept for a show, and as someone that really didn't watch originals and didn't watch Vampire Diaries, I'm really thoroughly enjoying it. So I'm probably going to focus on that show and catch myself up before I move on to like any new shows. I do definitely want to watch the Star Wars movie this weekend that I have to catch up on before I start Clone Wars, but I definitely think I'm going to make my CW shows and like legacies my focus this weekend. So that's going to be my focus. But I'm going to go get to work, and I'll talk to you guys in a bit. Bye. It's Lori here. I'm back. It is a beautiful, gorgeous day on Long Island, so I've actually been working outside all day. I did wind up listening to two stories in Tales of the Shadowhunter Academy. I wound up listening to Bitter Tongue, which was the one that was about Mark Blackthorne back before Lady Midnight. I actually wound up appreciating that story a lot more now that I know the aftermath. And then I wound up re-listening to The Fiery Trial, which I actually wound up listening to previous this year that I actually wound up really, really liking. And I'm about to start Born into Endless Night on my bike ride. And I hope to actually finish that audiobook either today or tomorrow. But I am happy to report that I just wound up picking up Shadows Between Us by Trisha Levasseur. I really do love her writing. I read The Daughter of the Pirate King duology and thoroughly liked it. I actually loved Warrior of the Wild. I read that earlier this year. This one is actually super interesting. Follows this girl. It's her. She's basically on this mission to kind of woo the Shadow King and become a queen, but then her goal is to also kill him so that she's the only queen. I've only read about legit 5 pages, but that's literally all it says. Her goal is to woo him, marry him, and then kill him. But she's also a very cunning character. I think she would probably be a Slytherin normally, but I really am liking it so far. I've only read 5 pages. You have to go to a company meeting or a school meeting in 30 minutes, but I do want to try to read a little bit more of this, so I'm gonna go do that. And I will check in with you guys before I go on my bike ride. Bye, guys. Lori here. Sorry for the previous clip. I know the glare was horrible, but I put a blue light filter on my computer for me working from home because it's really been bothering my eyes and I've been getting a lot of headaches. And I'm probably going to remove it when I work outside more over the summer, but for the foreseeable future, I need it. So that's why the glare was so bad. But I did wind up making a little bit of progress on my audiobook for Born into Midnight, I think, which is the second to last story in the Tales of the Shadowhunter Academy anthology. I love Magnus and Alec with the baby. Love it. And I have long wondered where the second baby came from. I finally figured it out because I read Ghost of the Shadow Market. But really, really like that story. So hopefully I'll be able to finish that audiobook tomorrow. I might want to finishing it tonight. We'll see. But that last story is always heartbreaking. And I don't know. I might have to listen to it on 2 speed because it's a little bit heartbreaking, the end of that story. But I am going to work out at some point, but I do want to listen to Reagan's reading vlog that I've long avoided. So I'm going to keep reading The Shadows Between Us. I'm really liking it. I love Trisha Levasseur's writing style so much. I'm just enthralled by it. I love Alessandra as a character. She's very, very a different type of heroine than you normally read from, and I'm liking it a lot. She's a very, very dark, cunning character, and I'm really curious to see where the story progresses because she has one very specific agenda. And I also don't know if this is a standalone. I don't remember, but I'm sure the ending will inform me. But I'm going to go back to reading, and I'll update you guys before I start working out because I have to work out and do something. I'll probably do a walking workout, and that's when I'm going to listen to a bunch more of Born into Endless Night. So that's my plan of attack. I'll talk to you guys in a bit. Bye. Lori here. I'm back. It is 5:30 and I did actually get up to page 52 in Shadows Between Us. This book is really, really fun. I'm loving this character. I'm loving this world. So now she's living at court and her ultimate goal is to marry and kill the king. And the Shadow King has another agenda that he wants to be able to have someone that he can use as someone that he can either marry or potentially marry so he can focus on solving the murder of his parents. But she's so cunning and it's such an interesting point of view to be in. But it's a very, very, it's such a rich world, and I really love Trisha Levasseur's writing style. So I am going to play a little bit of Animal Crossing. I didn't play nearly as much Animal Crossing as I normally do this week just because it was beautiful most days and I was outside a lot. But I do want to play a little bit of Animal Crossing, and then I'm going to work out, and then I'm probably going to take a shower, and then I'll come back and I'm going to read. I have about 12 videos that I do want to watch, YouTube videos that are just going to watch the background notes. I would love to make a substantial amount of progress on this. This has been a little bit of a slower reading week for me. It's not a bad thing. It just was a little bit of a slower, but I do definitely want to tackle a majority of this read tonight. It is a very, very quick read. I think this book only has like a little bit over 300 pages, but I am reading it slower. So I'm gonna go do all those errands, and when I'm done with all those little things, I'll come in and check in with you guys. But then it should be about around like 7. But yeah, that's my plan. So talk to you guys in a bit. Bye. Just checking back in. I did wind up playing a little bit of Animal Crossing, and I wound up doing the thing that I had to do that I was putting off doing. Like, I had to build like a bridge, and then I had to like set up some buildings because new people are going to be moving in. And that I think is going to take me a much longer time to do because I have to like build everything in their houses. So I'm gonna start doing that tomorrow. That's my plan of attack for tomorrow. I also did listen to about 40 minutes of Born into Endless Night, which is the second to last tale in the Tales of the Shadowhunter Academy. I love Alec and Magnus with the baby. I just love them. And I did finish watching Reagan's reading vlog, and now I've read about 60 pages in The Shadows Between Us by Trisha Lovasera. I just really like it. I love the gothic style of the setting. I love the characters. I love how they're both really going for two totally different agendas. And I do wish some moments that we were in the Shadow King's head because I think it would kind of flesh out the story a little bit more for me. But I'm loving Alessandra as a lead. I think she's such a cool and cunning and unique character. Wouldn't call her a villain, but she could be perceived that way. But she's very, very like calculating. And normally when you get a calculating character that I read, it's normally not a female or like it's not the female lead. But she's a very different type of lead character. And it does have like the undercurrents of a romance. And I always like her novels because they're very like fast paced. I am gonna go get a quick snack, but then I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna keep reading. I'm only about 60 pages in, but that's okay. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I'm loving like the court politics that exist. There's also some subtle LGBTQ elements, but I'm really really liking it. So I'm gonna go get a snack, keep reading, and I'll update you guys when I get up to page 100. That was the plan for tonight to at least get to page 100, 150. So talk to you guys in a bit. I'm back. I did wind up getting up to page 100 into The Shadows of Between Us by Trisha Lovasera. This book has so many competing plots. Like, there's some stuff from Alessandra's past that is like coming up to ding. Basically, at the first page of the book, she commits some murder of her lover. And she is kind of dealing with the after effects of a bunch of her actions. She is very sexually active, which is not okay in this time period. So her past crimes are kind of becoming like a little bit more apparent, but she's also kind of trying to get in good with the king, who's keeping her at an arm's length for a myriad of reasons. And now there's political drama that's happening, but she still is convinced that she can not only woo him, but then kill him. So it's a very like interesting plot. And then you have all the she's kind of learning her way around the politics of this mansion. She's kind of learning about all the politics, and she's kind of thinking she needs to know it because she's going to have to be the leader eventually. But she's also dealing with a lot of her past crimes that no one really knows of. She's very isolated from her family. She has a lot of issues with her older sister and her dad. Like, they're not that close. But I'm really, really liking it. Like, it's also such like a rich world, and one that I really think I need to like read super slowly, but I'm thoroughly enjoying it. So I'm gonna go back to watching some reading vlogs that I put off, and I'll check in with you guys when I get up to page about 150. Right? I forgot to add something, but there is also like a murder mystery plot that has been introduced that I'm liking, and another like mystery plot. So there's like 2 mystery plots that are kind of being like developed throughout this book as well, and I'm really interested to solving them both. So it's another element of this story that I'm really invested in. But the highlight of this book is definitely the political stuff. And also there's like a subtle magic system that is really interesting that I hope we learn more about. The only thing that I think would have made this book like a little bit better was if we got the Shadow King's point of view. And I said that a lot like in my previous reading vlogs. I love romantic plot lines that have both characters' point of view because I feel like you get a lot out of it. But that's my thoughts for right now, and I'll update you guys when I read about 50 more pages. Bye, guys. I'm back. It's about 9:18, and I decided to stop reading for the night. I think I'm going to wind up getting to page 122. This book is definitely really interesting. I think it has a lot of, like, different elements, and basically Alessandra is caught up in all of these conspiracies, some that she's creating, some of her own making, some in the past. So she's kind of a really interesting character to be involved in, and all the political stuff around her. But also her relationship with the Shadow King was not what I was necessarily expecting. I kind of thought it was going to go one way, but it's not going the way I predicted. So I'm kind of intrigued to see like where the story is going. It's definitely still really engaging, and I'm really curious to see how the story turns out. It's definitely a fast-paced read. I also like that this book does use like written letters a lot. Like it is like, I would say it's probably like earlier in the timeline, like probably like before the 18 or 1700s. Probably it's reading that way at least. So they're writing a lot of letters, and I'm really enjoying that. But I'm gonna head to relax. I'm gonna kind of watch some Legacies. I think that's the show that I'm in the middle of, and I'll update you guys tomorrow morning. Bye, guys. Right here, just checking back in. It's about 9:30 on Saturday morning, and between last night and this morning, I wound up finishing a graphic novel called, I think it's The Babysitter's Club, Claudia and Mean Janine, which is like the third book in that like graphic novel series, which is inspired by the Babysitter's Club series that was out a while ago. They're actually coming out with a new series on Netflix, which I'm super excited about, in July. But I've been trying to read them slowly but surely. It's been a while. Like, I don't even think I ever read the whole Babysitter's Club series, but I remember reading enough of them. When I was younger, I loved like Little Sister. That was a series that I really enjoyed. But now I've been diving into more of them. So I read about 4, and I want to read. I got a free book from BookCon last year, so I'm trying to get up to that arc so I could actually read it. But yeah, I really wound up enjoying that one. That one was all about Claudia and her mom and her grandma and her sister, but it also dealt with like the summer dynamics of the Babysitters Club, and the club keeps on expanding, which is kind of fun. So now we have Dawn, Stacy, and I think we're gonna get 2 other ones in the next volume. So I'm really excited about that. I'm really, really enjoying that. I still am reading Shadows Between Us by Trisha Levisera. I'm on page like 124. I think I'm gonna read a little bit more of this before I go to my yoga class for the day, which is in a bit. My goal was to read up to page 150 yesterday, but that just didn't happen. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. And when I come back from my yoga class, I will update you guys. Bye. Lori here, I'm back. I just got home from my bike ride, and I did wind up finishing the second to last story in the Tales of the Shadowhunter Academy collection. There's like, I think there's 10 stories. I finished my 9th one. The last one, Angels Twice Descending, is probably one of the most heartbreaking novellas I've ever read. So I'm gonna listen to it on like 2-speed because I have a really hard time getting through that because it's a little bit of a sad one. I don't want to give any spoilers, but there is some upsetting elements in that one. So I've listened to it, I think, once all the way through. But I feel like I want to at least listen to the whole book. So I'm going to listen to that on 2-speed. But it is a gorgeous day out here. I'm still reading Shadows Between Us by Trisha Levisera. I got up to page 150. I am going to tackle quite a bit of that. I'm actually going to go outside and just kind of like read outside because it's a gorgeous day. I've heard some rumors that it's not going to be as beautiful like the next couple of days, so I want to like soak up the sun while I can. I've also been looking at my TBR, and I think I'm really going to change it up dramatically for June and July because I've been looking at the same couple of books like over and over and over again, and I really want to like read something different. So I think I'm going to take all the books off my TBR and replace them. And I think I'm going to kind of do a contemporary author challenge to myself and kind of read all my favorite YA authors this summer. But yeah, that's kind of my plan, but I'm going to go spend a couple of hours reading outside. I'm going to stay hydrated and stuff and socially distant in my front yard. But yeah, that's my plan of attack. I also like wanted to talk about something just because I found it like really upsetting. For those that don't know, I'm working at home right now, and I really like true crime. I like mysteries. I like watching those videos. I think that they're super interesting and super compelling. And I follow 3 main YouTubers that do it. And this one girl, she basically was kicked off YouTube because someone accused her of plagiarism. And I found that super upsetting because, like, you know, this content that they create is so important. You're telling people's stories. And I just find it heartbreaking that she was basically had to give up her channel and everything because of a simple mistake. And I really love her video as background noise, especially when I'm grading stuff because I listen to them a lot. I'm really hoping she'll come back in the future because I really love her videos. She also deleted all her videos, and that like upset me even more because I just loved her videos. I loved them as background noise. They were also so long, which was really good, really well, good content. And I'm so upset by that. So I hope she comes back. You know, people make mistakes all the time. I make mistakes on this channel, and I'm upset about that. But I'm gonna go do some reading outside, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. It's Lori here, just checking back in. I wound up getting up to page 200 in Shadows Between Us by Trisha Levisera. I'm really loving this book. It has like a very interesting concept and very interesting premise. There's a lot of like different competing like political games, and they're all super interesting. And you know, the whole point of this is that Alessandra wants to kill the king so she can become queen, but it's becoming so much more complicated. I'm really loving like all the side characters. I'm loving the focus on the female experience, especially because you're only in Alessandra's head and like what she wants for women in this time period, in this world. I really do like the magic that is being developed by Trisha. Like I think it's very interesting, especially for the Shadow King. There was some very like interesting scenes and dynamics that I'm really liking. If you put a dog in a book, I'm gonna love it. And there was a very cute dog in this book that I'm thoroughly enjoying. And the dog's relationship with Alessandra really softens her a little bit. I always love that when like you have a very hard character and there's either a dog or there's a child that like kind of softens her. But I'm thoroughly liking it. I've got 120 pages left. So I'm gonna try to tackle another 100 pages and then I'll check in with you guys. But guys, I'm loving summer. I'm loving this beautiful weather. I'm loving this cute reading outside. But yeah, that's my plan of attack. I'm gonna go back to reading and I'll talk to you guys in a little bit. Bye. Hey, it's Lori here. I'm actually here to wind up wrapping up this reading vlog because I just did wind up finishing The Shadows Between Us by Trisha Levisera. I actually wound up really liking this book. I don't know. I'm still trying to think. I definitely liked it more than the Shadow Queen duology overall, but I'm torn if I like it more than Warrior of the Wild. I thought it was a very interesting book. Like, I like the premise, I like the concept, I like the characters. I wish that this book had been dual point of view because I would have liked to get into the Demon King's head a little bit because I thought that he was such a fascinating character. And I wish the magic system had been expanded a little bit. I thought the ending was so rushed, but I understand why it was rushed. Like I thought the last like 20 pages was very quick paced plot, and I like that, but I wish it was been expanded. This is definitely a standalone, so you can go in knowing you get like a complete story. I just wish the world building about their about the Demon King's powers, or the Shadow King's powers. Sorry, not the Demon King. The Shadow King's powers were like a little bit more fleshed out. But I really wound up liking it. I really liked her as a character, Alessandra. Like, I thought she's not kind of a character that you read about a lot. Like, I thought that she was definitely, like, a cunning character, and that's not something that's always very, like, approved of in YA, like, approved of in female characters, especially ones that you tend to follow. I really liked the discussion that was had about sexual identity for women throughout this novel in so many different ways. I thought that was like a really interesting topic to address. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I wound up giving it like 4.5 stars. It was such a fun read. This cover is pretty as well. Like really liked it. So I wound up giving this one like 4.5 stars. I also wound up giving Sound of Stars by Alicia Dow 4.5 stars. I had a really good like fantasy reading week. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop this reading vlog and then I'm going to do like a 24-hour reading vlog, I think. I want to see if I can do some of the Twisted Tales. But I'll talk about that in my next reading vlog. But I'll talk to you guys later and hope you guys are being safe and being well. Bye.